Do you dread social situations even when part of you wants to enjoy them? Do you replay conversations over and over afterwards and worry that you said the wrong thing? Do you look calm on the outside while feeling hot, tense, shaky, or overwhelmed on the inside? Welcome back to our channel where we talk about all things relating to anxiety and our mental well-being. In this video, we will be talking about social anxiety, why it happens, why it can feel so intense in both our body and our mind, and how we can begin to calm it in a gentler, more lasting way. If social situations leave you feeling exposed, on edge, self-conscious, or completely drained afterwards, please know you are not alone. Social anxiety can make very ordinary moments feel far bigger than they really are. A meeting at work, a family event, the school gate, a phone call, a date, ordering a coffee, standing in line at Starbucks, or even saying hello to someone can leave us feeling watched, tense, and deeply uncomfortable. We may know logically that nothing terrible is happening, yet our body reacts as though we are under threat. I found that to be one of the most challenging parts of social anxiety. It is not simply in our thoughts. It can feel physical, emotional, and exhausting all at once. We may spend days worrying before something happens, struggling to stay present during the moment, and then replay it for hours or even days afterwards. This can leave us feeling frustrated with ourselves and wondering why something that looks so easy for other people can feel so difficult for us. So if you are new here, my name is Jennifer Roblin. I'm an anxiety specialist and therapist and the founder of Better Your Life. I've helped thousands of people to overcome anxiety and thrive, and I also know firsthand how powerful anxiety can feel when it takes hold. So in this video, I want to help you understand social anxiety in a way that feels reassuring and, more importantly, practical. Because once we understand what is happening, it begins to become much easier to stop blaming ourselves and start responding differently. Social anxiety is often misunderstood. Many people can assume it is just shyness or a lack of confidence or being awkward. But social anxiety usually runs much, much deeper than that. It is a fear-based response to situations where we may feel seen, judged, evaluated, criticised, or exposed. That can include obvious things like making a presentation, going for an interview, meeting new people, or speaking in front of a group. But it can also include very everyday moments like making a small talk, joining a conversation, sending a voice note, asking a question in a meeting, answering the phone, or simply walking into a room where other people might look up and notice us. So let's understand why it feels so intense. Sometimes it helps to remember that we are using a Stone Age brain to navigate the 21st century. Our brain is still wired to protect us from danger and threat, and one of the oldest threats of all is social rejection. Long ago, when we were all living in caves, being excluded from the group or the tribe could affect survival and most likely would lead to death. Now, after all, we would not be able to hunt, cook, sleep, keep the campfire going all through the night, all on our own. So our sympathetic nervous system, our fight and flight response, is highly sensitive to judgment, criticism, and disconnection. This is why social anxiety can feel so intense. Even though a conversation, a meeting, or a social event is not dangerous, our body can react as though it is. It is an old alarm system responding to a modern day world moment. Our bodies are not looking for rational thinking. They are not saying this cafe isn't dangerous or this work meeting will not harm me. Our bodies are saying, what if I get rejected? What if I get embarrassed or exposed? What if I am not safe with these people? And because our nervous system is designed to protect us and ensure our survival, it reacts first before logic can intervene. When someone is struggling with social anxiety, It is rarely just about the thoughts, although the thoughts can be really loud. What if I say something stupid? What if I think I'm awkward? What if they notice I'm nervous? What if I blush? What if I go blank and I can't remember what I was meant to say? What if I pass out? What if they judge me? Those thoughts are common, but social anxiety is usually much more than a thinking problem. It is actually a whole body experience. So when we're feeling socially anxious, our heart may race, our chest may tighten, our throat may feel restricted, our face may get hot and red, our hands may shake and sweat, our legs may wobble, we may feel sick, we may go blank, or suddenly struggle to think clearly. That is because our autonomic nervous system is responding as though there is danger present. It is trying to protect us even when the situation itself is not actually dangerous. And this is why telling ourselves to just calm down or just be confident rarely works. When the sympathetic nervous system is activated, the body is not interested in whether we would prefer to feel relaxed. It is trying to keep us safe in the only way it knows how. This response is evolutionary. So if you have ever left a social situation wondering, why was I so anxious? Why did my body react like that? Why couldn't I just act normal? Please know this is not because you are broken or failing. It's because your nervous system has learned to respond to visibility and judgment as though they are threats. Clients often find that once they understand this, social anxiety starts to make much more sense. Now, this can happen for lots of reasons. For some people, social anxiety links back to earlier experiences of criticism, bullying, humiliation, feeling excluded, being laughed at, being misunderstood, or feeling constantly scrutinised. For others, it can build over time through pressure to get things right, to appear capable, to not make mistakes, and to look as if you're always holding it together. Sometimes it develops after a particularly embarrassing or overwhelming social experience. Sometimes it grows slowly until just being seen by others start to feel loaded with risk. And once that happens, the body often begins protecting us long before the social situation even starts. We might feel anxious while getting ready, while driving to the event, or imagining what could go wrong. Then when we are in the situation, we often start using protective behaviours without even realising it. We may choose to stay quiet, rehearse what we were going to say before we say it, avoid eye contact, speak too quickly, apologise too much, cling to someone we know, hide behind a phone, or leave as soon as we possibly can. Afterwards, we might feel relief that it is all over. But then comes the replaying. We go over what we said, how we looked, how we sounded, whether we came across badly, whether we were weird, whether people noticed, and this is where social anxiety becomes such a stubborn cycle. Our nervous system keeps practicing a threat, so the threat keeps getting stronger. There are also certain habits that tend to keep social anxiety going, even when we are only trying to protect ourselves. We might be over-preparing, rehearsing every possible sentence, trying to predict every outcome, or mentally over-planning the interaction. It can start to feel safer in the moment, but it often increases pressure in the long term. Instead of feeling more prepared, we feel more tense and more self-conscious. Perfectionism can make this even worse. If we feel we have to say the right thing, sound confident, look calm, and never make a mistake, social situations start to feel like a test. We are no longer simply talking to people, we are trying to manage every detail of how we are being perceived. That creates so much pressure, and the more pressure we put on ourselves, the more anxious we often feel. Procrastination can become part of the pattern too. We may delay replying to messages, put off making calls, avoid booking appointments, postpone conversations, or leave things till the last minute because they feel emotionally uncontrollable. That may give us short-term relief, but it keeps the anxiety alive. The task hangs over us, and when we do finally face it, our system is often even more activated. So let's look at what can actually help here. There are 8 strategies you can try at home. I'm sure you've heard it before, but one of the first and most important things to be aware of is our breath. Social anxiety often triggers our fight and flight response, which then changes the way we breathe. We tend to breathe more quickly and more shallowly. That means more up in the top of our chest. This can make the whole body feel more alarmed. A really simple place to begin is by slowing the breath and gently lengthening the exhale. Keep it soft, keep it light. There's no need to force a huge deep breath. We are just giving the body a safety signal. The second tip is grounding yourself before the situation even begins. If you know you're about to go into a meeting, a social event, a school pickup, a difficult conversation, take a moment first. Feel your feet on the floor. Relax your eyes. Let your shoulders drop a little. Look around the space that you are in. Remind yourself that discomfort is not the same as danger. That small pause can help reduce how quickly our nervous system spirals. We can ground ourselves in the present moment by paying really close attention to an object. Notice it as if it's the first time you have seen it. I often use a pen. It's really simple and my clients report it works really well for them too. Notice the colours, the textures, the different materials used to make up that pen. How does it feel to touch it? Can you make a sound with it? How is the light bouncing off of it? Tune into your senses and try and notice 6 things you usually take for granted or they're not in your conscious awareness. When we are in the present moment, we are not worrying about the past or the future. We're not predicting. The third tip is to stop trying so hard to look calm. I know that might sound strange, but so many people with social anxiety are working very, very hard to hide it. And the pressure to appear calm often makes us feel even more tense. A better question is, what would help me feel slightly safer right now? That might be softening your jaw, slowing your speech, letting yourself pause more before answering, or simply allowing your body to be a little less braced. The fourth tip is to use one gentle anchor thought. When anxiety rises, the mind tends to scatter into lots of what ifs. One grounding phase can help to bring us back into the present moment. That might be something like, I do not need to perform, I just need to be present. Or my body is just trying to protect me. Choose something that feels believable rather than forced. We do not need to convince ourselves that everything is amazing. We just need something that helps us stay more steady. So I had my first panic attack when I was very young, and I ended up giving my anxiety a name. I called him Bruce. When I used to struggle socially, I would thank Bruce for trying to protect me and tell him I didn't need him right now. I know this sounds far too easy, maybe even silly, but it gave me a sense of control, being able to acknowledge he had shown up again and to say that it's not needed right now. Give it a go. You might even surprise yourself. The fifth tip is to reduce one safety behaviour, just one at a time, not everything at once. Maybe you send the message after reading it twice instead of 10 times. Maybe you stay 5 minutes longer than you intended. Maybe you make brief eye contact just once. Maybe you speak up even if your voice does not sound exactly how you want it to. These small steps matter because they show our nervous system that we can cope without needing to protect ourselves quite so much. So if you are finding these tips helpful, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. This helps us to create more content and it lets you stay up to date with our latest videos on managing anxiety and our mental well-being, as well as access to all our free resources for reducing anxiety. And if you are looking for extra support, after this video, you can find details about working with me through the link over in the description. You do not need to struggle alone. The sixth tip that really helps is creating a calmer recovery afterwards. A lot of people are focused on getting through the social situation, but forget that the aftermath matters too. This is often when the spiralling begins. We get home and start replaying everything in our mind. So it helps to build in something settling afterwards, something to calm our nervous system. That might be a walk, a hot drink, some gentle movement, a few slower breaths, a note to yourself about what actually went better than expected. Even a short break from your phone can help. This tells our nervous system that the event is over and everything is okay. The seventh tip is to build confidence in small steps rather than waiting to feel ready. We'll never feel ready, so we can start building confidence slowly. It rarely comes first. It usually grows through repeated experiences of doing something, surviving it, and realising that you are more capable than you actually thought you were. This might mean asking one question, staying a little longer, joining a conversation for a few minutes, or going somewhere for 20 minutes instead of avoiding it altogether. Small steps often contribute far more than one big dramatic act of bravery. Now, you may wish to download our Exposure Ladder workbook to help you with this. As always, you can find it over in the description and it comes with full instructions. The eighth tip is to work with the root cause of the anxiety, not just the feeling in the moment of panic. This is really important as social anxiety is rarely about the social situation itself. Oftentimes it's tied to deeper fears around rejection, shame, criticism, visibility, and not feeling good enough. Sometimes it's about a nervous system that has spent years trying to keep us safe. So while practical tools are helpful, sometimes we also need support that helps us understand where the patterns originally came from and what will actually shift them more deeply. If social situations often leave you overwhelmed, shut down, on edge, or emotionally drained afterwards, one of the best places to start is with our Window of Tolerance workbook. It helps you to understand why you can feel steady one moment and completely overloaded the next, why certain situations leave us wired, frozen, flat, or exhausted, and what helps to bring us back into a calmer, more grounded state. For social anxiety, that can be incredibly reassuring because it helps you see that your reactions are not random. Your system is moving through protection. And if your mind tends to replay everything afterwards, our anxious thoughts diary can be another really useful tool. It helps you slow those thoughts down, recognise the common fears underneath them, and begin separating anxious assumptions from what actually is happening. That can make a huge difference if you find yourself analysing every detail after an interaction. Sometimes another helpful first step is simply getting clearer on whether anxiety is actually at the root cause of what you're experiencing. That is exactly why we created the anxiety quiz. It gives you a clearer picture of how anxiety may be affecting you and helps you spot patterns you may have been unaware of. So if that feels it might be useful, you can find that through the link in the description too. So, social anxiety is not a personal flaw. It is not a sign that you are weak, odd, weird, or less capable than other people. So many people who struggle with social anxiety are thoughtful, intelligent, caring, capable people who are simply living with a nervous system that has become too alert around people, visibility, and judgment. Once we can understand this, we can stop making it about our own identity and start seeing it as a pattern of learnt behaviour that can be changed. This is important because the more we label ourselves with things like I'm anxious, I'm awkward, I'm socially bad, I'm embarrassing, I'm just not good enough with people, the more trapped we tend to feel. But social anxiety is not who you are. It is something your system has learned. And what is learned can be unlearned with the right support, the right tools, and enough compassion for what you have been carrying. So, if social anxiety has been shrinking your life, affecting your confidence, or making ordinary day-to-day moments feel far harder than they need to, this may be the time to get support. I'm Jennifer Roblin, and if you would like help understanding what is driving your anxiety and how to calm it more effectively, you can get in touch by clicking in the link in the description or in the comments below. I work with clients in the UK and beyond, all around the world, and you really do not need to keep managing this on your own. And if this video has helped, then if you feel a little bit more understood, I would really appreciate if you could like, subscribe, and share it with someone else who may need it right now. It really does help us reach more and more people who are silently struggling with anxiety. Social anxiety can be incredibly isolating, especially when other people cannot see how much effort it takes just to get through everyday situations. But this can change, and we understand why the anxiety is there and what is happening in the body and what keeps the cycle going. Things can begin to shift. Little by little, social situations can start to feel safe again, lighter, and less overwhelming. You don't need to struggle alone. Now is the right time to take back control of your life and free yourself from those anxious thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.